A powerful introduction to Sikandar's complex character, unveiling the tension between duty, loyalty, and love. Bold romantic and emotionally charged scenes, laced with intensity. The first massive action sequence that defines Sikandar's fierce persona. The setting of high stakes and moral dilemmas. Introduction: the making of a legend. The movie Sikandar opens with a gripping visual of a city under siege, both literally and metaphorically. The camera pans through sprawling cityscapes, capturing the pulse of a world where every man is either a predator or prey. In the midst of it all stands Sikandar, Salman Khan, a man whose reputation precedes him. As we hear whispers of his name in the streets, we know that the world around him is about to change, and it's only a matter of time before he must take charge. His journey is not just one of survival, but one of redemption. From the very first scene, Salman Khan establishes his character's essence: stoic, intense, and yet, underneath it all, he's a man haunted by a past he can never forget. Sikandar isn't just a muscle-bound hero, he's a man with depth, a man who feels the weight of his actions and the sins of his past. The film effortlessly hooks mature audiences with this complexity, offering glimpses into the turmoil that drives him forward. This is not just another action-packed film, it's a story about sacrifice, love, and the blurred lines between good and evil. The protagonist, Sikandar's complexity. Sikandar is no ordinary hero, he's a man built from the rubble of his past. We learn that he wasn't always the unshakable force of nature that he is now. Flashbacks to his childhood reveal a boy marked by loss and tragedy, and it's this pain that has shaped his personality. A young Sikandar is shown growing up in a broken world, surrounded by violence, betrayal, and a constant struggle for survival. His early years are defined by an unrelenting fight for justice, fueled by the need to avenge his loved ones. Love and romance. Sikandar's vulnerability. It is in the character of Rashmika Mandana, playing the role of Zara, that the love story of Sikandar begins to take shape. Zara, a woman with her own set of burdens, is introduced as someone who is both a source of solace and conflict for Sikandar. Their first encounter is laced with tension. There's a spark, an undeniable chemistry, but it's a chemistry that neither of them is prepared for. The air is thick with unspoken words, and what begins as a reluctant connection gradually evolves into a passionate romance. The first romantic sequence between Sikandar and Zara is as intense as it is subtle. There's an unspoken understanding between them, a tenderness that speaks volumes more than words ever could. The camera lingers on their expressions, capturing the vulnerability and longing in their eyes. It's clear that Sikandar has fallen for Zara, but his hardened exterior is at odds with his feelings. He's not used to letting anyone get too close. Zara, on the other hand, is intrigued by his complexity, drawn to the layers beneath his tough exterior. Their love story is one of emotional depth and tension, and it serves as the perfect juxtaposition to the violence that will soon unfold. But the romance is not without its bold moments. The chemistry between Salman and Rashmika boils over into a scene that's intimate without crossing the line into gratuitous. It's a bold, sensual moment, marked by a sense of urgency and passion. The love scenes are tastefully done, exploring the rawness of their emotions. Sikandar's tender affection for Zara is portrayed with such sincerity that it immediately elevates the stakes of their relationship. This is not just a love story, it's a high-stakes emotional battlefield, where both characters have everything to lose. Action and thrills. Sikandar in his element. The movie delivers a series of breathtaking action sequences, and the first one is a spectacle that sets the tone for the rest of the film. Sikandar, tasked with a mission to eliminate a notorious gang leader, faces off against a group of heavily armed men in a dark alley. The choreography of this action scene is nothing short of spectacular. Every punch, every kick, and every move from Sikandar exudes raw power and precision. There's a sense of weight in each action sequence. The stakes are high, and Sikandar's every movement is calculated. As the tension builds, the scene becomes a fight for survival, with Sikandar using his environment to his advantage. He takes down one adversary after another, each move more brutal than the last. The scene is a masterclass in action, blending fast-paced combat with moments of slow motion that make each strike feel more impactful. The adrenaline rush of the fight is matched only by the sense of inevitability. It's clear that Sikandar is a man who doesn't hesitate when it comes to protecting those he loves. But the action is not limited to physical combat. The film introduces a layer of psychological warfare as well, with Sikandar navigating a maze of betrayals and alliances. The intrigue of shifting loyalties and hidden motives adds a thrilling element of suspense to the narrative. As the plot thickens, Sikandar's battle becomes not just against his enemies, but against the very systems that have ensnared him. Drama and moral dilemmas, the heart of the story. Amidst the chaos of action, the film weaves in moments of emotional intensity and moral complexity. Sikandar's internal conflict comes to the forefront in a key scene where he must choose between his loyalty to his mentor and his love for Zara. The tension between his personal desires and his sense of duty is palpable. Sikandar is forced to confront the demons of his past, specifically, the choices he made that led to the loss of his family. In one of the most dramatic moments of the film, Sikandar has a heated confrontation with his mentor, a man who has been both a father figure and a manipulator. The conversation becomes a battle of wills, with Sikandar forced to reckon with the lies he's been told and the betrayals he's experienced. The emotional weight of this scene is immense, as it explores the complexities of loyalty, trust, and betrayal. Sikandar, despite his hardened exterior, is deeply affected by this confrontation, showing that beneath the tough exterior lies a man who is struggling to reconcile his actions with his conscience. The cliffhanger, the path ahead. As the first chapter comes to a close, Sikandar finds himself at a crossroads. He has made enemies, and his love for Zara has exposed him to even greater danger. The final moments of the chapter set the stage for the looming conflict. Sikandar is presented with a choice: continue down the path of violence and vengeance or risk everything for a chance at redemption. The action sequences, the romance, and the drama all collide in this climactic moment, leaving the audience on the edge of their seats. This detailed chapter introduces Sikandar not just as an action hero, but as a layered character caught in the crossroads of love, loyalty, and personal demons. His vulnerabilities, the tension in his relationships, and the dangerous world he inhabits all come together to set the stage for an explosive second act. The audience is left yearning to see where his path will take him next. Would you like me to continue building on the next chapters, or adjust this one further? The internal conflict of Sikandar as he grapples with his past and his growing affection for Zara. A deepening of the romantic and bold moments between Sikandar and Zara. Introduction of a darker, more dangerous side of Sikandar's world. Tension-building moments that heighten the stakes, emotionally and physically. Major action sequences showcasing Sikandar's skills and intelligence. A cliffhanger ending that promises chaos and consequences for Sikandar's choices. Introduction: the calm before the storm. Chapter 2 of Sikandar starts with a deeper dive into Sikandar's psyche, showing him as a man torn between love and his brutal past. After the explosive first chapter, where he proved his unmatched combat skills, Sikandar finds himself at a precarious crossroads. He cannot continue to live in the shadow of his violent history, yet he cannot escape it either. His connection with Zara, though tender, is becoming a source of conflict. This chapter explores the duality of Sikandar's nature, the man who craves peace and redemption versus the mercenary who has built a life on destruction and vengeance. The slow burn of this chapter draws the audience in, inviting them to witness Sikandar's war not just against external enemies, but the internal turmoil that threatens to tear him apart. His interactions with Zara become more intense, his resolve more fragile, and his need for redemption grows stronger. The backdrop of political intrigue, danger, and betrayal serves as the perfect stage for this conflict to unfold. Sikandar's past, a burden he cannot shake. As Sikandar navigates the precarious relationship with Zara, flashbacks delve deeper into his past. In these moments, the audience is taken back to a time when Sikandar was a man with a mission, before he was hardened by the ruthless nature of his world. The flashbacks show him as a young man, full of idealism and hope, fighting to protect his family and his community. His early days were defined by passion for justice and a desire to right the wrongs in a corrupt world. However, tragedy strikes when Sikandar's family is destroyed by a brutal cartel. In a heart-wrenching sequence, we see the people Sikandar loved most taken from him. The world he once believed in crashes down, and the man we see in the present is shaped by this loss. Sikandar's desire for vengeance consumes him, and it's this need for retribution that propels him into the criminal underworld. His rise through the ranks is swift, as he is forced to abandon his ideals and embrace the violence of his world. These flashbacks provide the emotional core of Sikandar's character. They reveal why he struggles with love, why he distances himself from Zara, and why he cannot allow himself to hope for a future. His soul is scarred, and every choice he makes now is dictated by the ghosts of his past. The romance deepens. Zara's hold on Sikandar. Meanwhile, Sikandar's relationship with Zara intensifies. Zara, aware of Sikandar's emotional baggage, remains steadfast in her belief that there is more to him than just the hardened mercenary he presents to the world. She sees glimpses of the man he could be, the man who can love, who can heal. Zara is both his refuge and his torment, as her presence in his life challenges everything he has built. Boldness and passion, the emotional crux of Sikandar's heart. The romance in Sikandar takes a bold turn in a dramatic, heart-pounding sequence where Sikandar, unable to resist Zara's pull, shares a passionate night with her. The scene is filled with raw emotion, with both characters shedding their insecurities and fears. This scene is not just a physical connection, but an emotional one. Zara becomes the one person Sikandar allows himself to trust. It's in this moment that we see the vulnerability he's been hiding. He needs her, but he's terrified that she will become another casualty of his world. Their connection is electric, and the camera captures every subtle touch, every lingering look. The film doesn't shy away from depicting this intimacy in a way that is both bold and respectful, highlighting the emotional stakes of their relationship. This scene deepens their bond but also adds a layer of danger. Sikandar knows he's risking everything, and the audience can feel the weight of that risk as the scene unfolds. The dark world of politics and betrayal. As Sikandar and Zara's relationship becomes more intense, the external threat grows more menacing. Sikandar's role in the criminal world catches up with him in the form of a dangerous political maneuver. A rival gang, led by a cold and calculating antagonist, begins to threaten everything Sikandar has worked for. This rival gang has connections in high places, and they have been watching Sikandar for some time, waiting for the right moment to strike. The political intrigue and power play deepen, with betrayals coming from unexpected places. Sikandar's world, once a battlefield of physical violence, has now become a psychological one. Each move he makes is a calculated risk, and each choice carries consequences. The thrill of the cat-and-mouse game is heightened as Sikandar uncovers more about the sinister forces at play. The tension builds, a showdown looms. Sikandar's path of redemption is fraught with peril, and the final moments of Chapter 2 set up the inevitable clash. The suspense grows as Sikandar, in a desperate bid to protect Zara and put an end to the threat hanging over his life, sets up a high-stakes confrontation with his rival. The tension builds as the action escalates. Gunfights, narrow escapes, and dangerous close encounters make for a thrilling sequence. Sikandar's skills are put to the test, and his physical prowess is matched only by his intelligence and cunning. In an intense action sequence, Sikandar faces off against the rival gang, navigating a maze of deadly traps and double crosses. The cinematography here is stunning, with sweeping camera angles capturing the chaos of the battle. Sikandar's calm in the face of danger contrasts sharply with the brutal violence that erupts around him. The sequence culminates in a heart-stopping standoff that leaves the audience on the edge of their seats. The cliffhanger, the future of Sikandar. The chapter ends on a cliffhanger, with Sikandar and Zara facing an uncertain future. As the battle intensifies, Sikandar realizes that the cost of his choices is greater than he anticipated. The final shot of Chapter 2 leaves the audience questioning whether Sikandar can truly escape his past and protect the woman he loves, or if he will be consumed by the very forces he's been fighting against. The stakes are higher than ever, and the path forward is unclear. Chapter 2 of Sikandar takes the audience deeper into the heart of the story. The emotional weight of Sikandar's internal struggle, coupled with the tension of external threats, builds to an explosive climax. The romance is not just a subplot, it's a driving force that humanizes Sikandar, making him a more relatable and compelling character. The action is relentless, the suspense unyielding, and the drama is rich with layers that promise a thrilling conclusion. This chapter sets the stage for what is sure to be a monumental showdown in the final act. Sikandar, battered and bruised from the events of the previous chapter, takes a brief respite. The camera lingers on his face, showing a man who's come to terms with his past, at least partially. The physical toll of his journey is evident, but it's the psychological and emotional scars that are more profound. Sikandar's reflection is a moment of quiet before the storm that's about to engulf him. He's no longer the man who seeks vengeance. He is a man who's determined to redeem himself, even if it means losing everything. Zara, having witnessed Sikandar's transformation, stands by his side. Her love has become his anchor, a force that grounds him in the chaos. Their relationship, once filled with tension and uncertainty, has now become the emotional heart of the story. They share a moment of vulnerability, with Zara reminding Sikandar that redemption is possible, but it comes with a price. Their connection has never been more raw or poignant than in this quiet moment before everything falls apart. Sikandar's choice, a man at the crossroads. Sikandar's redemption arc is propelled forward by a choice, to confront the criminal empire that has controlled his life for far too long, or to walk away from it all and finally choose peace. The world around him is pushing him toward violence. His enemies are too powerful, too entrenched, to be stopped by anything less than a full-on war. But Sikandar, now armed with the strength of his love for Zara and the desire to reclaim his soul, makes a decision: he will fight. But this time, it will be on his terms. The internal conflict that rages within Sikandar is palpable. He knows the cost of this decision. He knows the sacrifices that may come. Zara, despite her fear for him, encourages him to pursue his path of redemption, but also urges him to hold on to the love they share. It's a powerful moment where the stakes are raised. Sikandar must now face the most dangerous part of his journey, not the fight itself, but the price of victory. Will he lose Zara? Will he be consumed by the violence that he so desperately wishes to leave behind? The love that defines him, Sikandar and Zara's deepening bond. The love between Sikandar and Zara intensifies in this chapter. As Sikandar faces the darkest and most dangerous moments of his life, Zara becomes his strength, his reason to keep fighting. Their bond is no longer just about passion and desire, it has evolved into something more profound. There's a sense of mutual respect, understanding, and unwavering trust between them. Their romantic moments are fewer but more meaningful. In a powerful scene, Sikandar and Zara share an intimate conversation on the rooftop of an old building overlooking the city. The night is still, and the only sound is the wind rustling through the air. It's in this quiet space that Sikandar opens up to Zara about his past. He tells her of the heartbreak, the regret, and the demons that haunt him. For the first time, he shows her the man behind the hardened exterior, allowing her to see the raw vulnerability he's kept hidden from everyone, even himself. Their kiss that follows is tender, full of longing and sorrow, as though they both understand that their love, though beautiful, may not be enough to shield them from the storm. It's a bold scene, filled with raw emotion, as Sikandar allows himself to be fully vulnerable with the woman he loves. But even in this moment of peace, the looming threat of the conflict ahead hangs over them. Action and drama, the final battle. As the time for action approaches, Sikandar prepares for the final showdown. His enemies, a vast network of criminals and political players, are closing in on him. The tension in the air is palpable as Sikandar gears up for a fight that will determine not only his fate but the fate of the city he's sworn to protect. The audience knows that this battle is not just for survival, it's for redemption. The action sequences are relentless. The first major set piece takes place in a deserted industrial complex, where Sikandar confronts a series of enemies in an intricate and well-choreographed fight. Every punch, kick, and gunshot carries the weight of his choices. Sikandar moves with precision and brutality, his body a weapon forged by years of violence. The camera follows every movement, capturing the intensity of the battle from multiple angles. Sikandar's fighting style is a reflection of his inner turmoil, powerful but controlled. However, this fight is different. There's no mindless aggression. Sikandar fights with purpose, with determination, knowing that every blow he delivers brings him one step closer to his redemption. The choreography is both brutal and graceful, showcasing Sikandar's intelligence as well as his physical prowess. It's not just about taking down his enemies, it's about reclaiming his soul, about proving that he's not defined by his past. The scene culminates in a heart-stopping moment where Sikandar faces his former mentor, the man who betrayed him and shaped him into the weapon he became. The confrontation is emotional, as Sikandar faces the man who destroyed his family and manipulated him for years. The dialogue is heavy with history, and the fight that follows is not just physical but emotional. Sikandar's final victory over his mentor represents the culmination of his journey, a journey of self-discovery, redemption, and healing. A love worth fighting for, Sikandar's sacrifice. As Sikandar's enemies are defeated one by one, Zara remains his ultimate priority. But the price of victory is steep. Sikandar, battered and bruised, finds himself in a life-or-death situation in the final moments of the battle. In a dramatic sequence, he must choose between saving himself or ensuring that Zara is safe. This final sacrifice is a poignant moment, where Sikandar proves that his redemption is not just about him. It's about protecting the ones he loves, no matter the cost. In a twist, Sikandar makes a selfless move, placing Zara's safety above his own. The audience is taken through an emotional roller coaster as Sikandar faces a moment of certain death. But just as all hope seems lost, Zara, who has proven herself to be just as strong and determined as Sikandar, intervenes, saving him and turning the tide in their favor. It's a breathtaking moment, one that showcases the power of love and sacrifice. Zara's intervention signals that she is not just the woman Sikandar loves, but his equal, someone who is willing to fight for him just as he has fought for her. Their love becomes the central force that enables Sikandar to overcome the final obstacle standing between him and his redemption. The ending, a new beginning. As the dust settles, Sikandar and Zara stand together, their futures uncertain but full of hope. The city is safe, and the criminal empire that once controlled it has been dismantled. Sikandar's journey has come full circle. He has fought for his redemption, not through violence alone, but through love, sacrifice, and personal growth. The final shot of the film shows Sikandar and Zara walking away from the chaos, hand in hand, into a future that is still unwritten. It's a hopeful ending, one that suggests that while the scars of the past may never fully disappear, there is always the possibility of starting over, of building something better. The camera pulls back to show the city skyline, bathed in the light of a new dawn, symbolizing that Sikandar's story, though fraught with pain and loss, has ultimately led to something redemptive.